I never thought I'd be telling this story again. When I first shared it, I thought that was the end. A strange memory from youth, terrifying but buried. But a few weeks ago, I received an email from someone who said they knew what really happened. It was from the same person who'd sent me the story back in July of 2024. And this time, they had an update. Before we get to that, let's go back to where it all began. He grew up by the ocean. The sea wasn't something to fear. It was his comfort, his freedom, his favorite sound in the world. He used to sit on the sand as a child, letting the tide crawl up to his feet while his parents laughed under the umbrella behind him. But peace hides danger well, and sometimes the most beautiful places collect the darkest memories. When he was 16, he and his two best friends, Charles and Riley, were invited to spend a weekend at Charles' family beach house on Long Beach Island. No parents, just the boys, a few beers they weren't supposed to have, and the thrill of independence. Later, 3 girls from school, Rosie, Alexa, and Sophie, joined them. Music, laughter, dancing, the scent of the sea. For a few perfect hours, everything felt infinite. Then, close to midnight, the wind shifted. Charles turned down the speaker and pointed across the lagoon. Standing on the far dock were 4 silhouettes, tall, still, and silent. At first, they thought it was shadows or neighbors until one of them moved, and then came the sound that froze their laughter forever. 4 splashes, one after another, echoing across the water. Someone, or something, was swimming toward them. Panic swallowed reason. They ran inside, locked the doors, and tried to laugh it off until the sound of footsteps creaked above them. Someone was inside the house. They bolted out the back door, piling into Riley's car, hearts pounding. When police arrived, the place was trashed, electronics gone, furniture overturned, the family's boat missing from the dock. But what haunted them most was what the intruders left behind, a single wet footprint on the kitchen counter. Years passed. The house was sold, the case forgotten, but nightmares lingered. Then, years later, the narrator met Charles again at a reunion. They talked about life until Charles mentioned his younger brother, Kieran. One summer night, Kieran and his friends took their boat near Carl Island, a quiet, off-limits stretch of sand. As the sun dropped and the drinks flowed, they noticed another boat anchored nearby, old, peeling, familiar. Kieran swore it looked exactly like their stolen one. Curiosity pulled them closer. They swam through the dark water until the truth became clear. The same scratches on the hull, the same crack on the deck, even the faint outline of their family name still visible under the chipped paint. But as they turned back to shore, they saw someone, a man walking down the beach carrying a shovel. When he started running toward them, they panicked, swimming frantically to their own boat. As they sped off, another engine roared to life behind them. The man was following. They didn't look back until they reached the marina. By morning, the other boat had vanished. Kieran told his parents everything, and police searched the area, but there was nothing. No boat, no man, no evidence it ever happened. Yet Kieran swore that every few nights he'd wake to the sound of splashing outside his window. And sometimes, when he looked out toward the lagoon, he'd see it. A small white boat drifting in silence, rocking gently in the dark. They say the ocean never gives up its secrets, but sometimes it shows you just enough to remind you that it's watching. That night on Long Beach Island wasn't just a break-in. It was an invitation, a crossing of something that was never meant to be crossed. Maybe the people across the lagoon weren't people at all. Maybe they were waiting for the ones who looked back. So if you ever rent a beach house and feel the breeze shift, if you catch sight of still figures across the water, or hear soft splashes when the moon is high, don it a wait to see who is there. Because some stories don't end. They drift quietly, just beneath the surface, waiting for you to come close enough to see them.